You're live.
You're gonna send it? Send it, baby. We're live. What's happening?
What's up, Nick Bruni? Mexican Spec? Yes, you're there with a wrench. Cool.
Next.
What's going on, Tony?
You know, just living a dream. Just
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the dream.
Star 7787 says hello, Tony Kathy.
Hello, star 77787.
That's good that you remembered that.
How do I remember that?
I don't know.
That's like the last right before dementia hits.
You're right. It's like a
Your
Rain
memory
Man
becomes
thing.
like
Right,
super
perfect.
crazy sharp.
Danny Boyd.
Danny Boyd, what's happening, man?
Mitchell Smith. Bill McKiska. Pullout King. Got my smokes, I'm ready.
Nice. I got mine.
Fubar.
Fubar.
Rusty Bucket Restos. Rocky Myers.
So I haven't heard from Kiwi since he got back.
Is he okay?
I don't think he's okay.
You don't think he's okay?
I don't think he's okay. The last message I watched the live when he came home, right? Because he had that, and I thought they were going to the shop, so I was going to jump on a car real quick and go to the shop. But they ended up going, I guess, to Steve's house because I didn't recognize the block or the neighborhood.
Okay.
So I just texted him and I was like, congrats, right? Mm-hmm. And he says, text me in the morning when you're at the shop.
Right.
Well, I haven't heard from him since.
He's not talking to you anymore.
That was Friday night. Yeah, he's only going to associate with other, will it run
Right.
YouTubers now.
Exactly.
He's done with us like petty wrench turners.
Right. You and your blown head gasket.
Yes, me and my blown head gaskets. Yeah.
Glad to see you, Nova Nut.
It's always a good time when Nova Nut shows
I
up.
know. Territory says, Tony, the story goes that you greeted Kiwi at the Tennessee border with roses, UTG lei, and a bottle of milk. Is that true?
I would have, but I didn't really know when they were coming through.
Oh my goodness.
Like I realized, so like I caught like the last like 15 minutes of their live, and I realized that they were on 2-lane. So I said, well, if they're on 2-lane, that means that they're going to be someplace between the interstate and Franklin, which means they're home. Yeah. But the sound was really bad, and I couldn't make out what was going on. And Winnie was barking at the TV like crazy. Mm-hmm. So I says, I'll just run over to the shop. Mm-hmm. It was about maybe 10 o'clock, 10:30. I don't know. You had kind of bed already.
I was sick.
Yeah, you weren't feeling good. So I was going to run out there, and then I realized, well, I don't recognize that block or the house or anything. So. But yeah, I haven't heard from him. He's done with me. He's done with me.
Oh my goodness. Mexican Spec says, I missed Kiwi's last live. Sad.
Well, don't call it his last live. That's oh my God. Mexican Spec. Come on.
Zero, what's up?
Zero, what's happening? We were just talking about you. Kathy was like,
okay, Fubar.
Have you seen Zero? I hope he's alive.
I haven't seen
him. He's fine.
But I've been very out of it, so I really haven't been paying attention. Just making sure everyone's okay. It's kind of my job. Let's see. Uncle Tony, when you gonna get an ATV? Be pissed at seeing you ripping a Banshee or something, bud.
Oh man, I've told my Quadzilla story before, but so there's off-road shenanigans coming, right? I can't talk about it yet. Because it's not all put together yet. But there's definitely some off-road shenanigans coming for the spring. A challenge. So, but that's all I'm going to say about it right now.
Oh, he was at a funeral for his uncle. No worries. I'm sorry, Zero.
Oh, sorry, Zero.
So you did really good without me last Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to you. You did really good.
I've only done...
I'm very proud of you.
I figure we averaged 2 a week for the last 5.5 years or thereabouts.
Like that.
So add that up, right? That's 2 a week, so it's 52 times... And we really don't miss any, okay? So 52 times... So it's 52 weeks times 6, that's 300, 600. We've done about 600 lives. So it's like, yeah, this is easy.
Mitchell Smith says, so are we doing the StreamYard thing or not? You confirmed Wednesday night, but then I never heard anything.
We could not get the StreamYard up tonight. That's why we were late. She was trying to get StreamYard going on the computer, and for some reason there was no microphones. What was going on with it?
I don't know. It's not working properly. I'm still sick, so I'm not really thinking straight, so forgive me.
StreamYard was not working out. That's why we're on this right now. And that's why we were late. But
how's my ear infection? I don't know.
It's not an ear infection.
It's not good.
It's not an ear infection. So
it's very not good.
So here's what happened, okay? She woke up last Sunday morning, all right? Like in pain, like crippling pain, her ear, okay? And went for a couple of days and she went to the doctor. And the doctor says, oh, it's an ear infection. But in the meantime, she's saying that her scalp hurts, her skin hurts, her neck hurts, all of these different things hurt in addition to the ear. So, being somewhat familiar with the wiring of the head, there's a thing called the trigeminal nerve.
But that's not what I have.
Oh, jeez, I know that. But I know you don't have that, but you have the basic symptoms
I'm
of
okay. I'm gonna live.
You have the basic symptoms of trigeminal neuralgia, but you don't have trigeminal neuralgia. But the same areas that would be affected by trigeminal neuralgia is what you're experiencing. Yeah. So the trigeminal nerve runs from the back of the skull up right behind your ear, and right at your ear it splits into 3 different areas. It goes up, this way, and then down. So she's also had other issues that all relate to her spine. With vertigo, there's the C1, okay, where this
Tony
whole
should have been a doctor.
bundle of nerves comes through.
He loves it when I get sick. He gets to study things and diagnose me.
Picture a wiring harness, the way a wiring harness runs through a car.
It's hilarious.
Well, the wiring that's your
so
nerves.
Excited. Oh.
That runs from the base of your skull, okay, slips between C1 and C2.
Street Dog Zero says, yeah.
Okay, that's all up here, okay?
Yeah.
That's where Dale Earnhardt got killed. That's what it separated from, right? So those nerves all go between the base of the skull, C1, C2, they're all like that, and then they come forward and do their thing. So I have a hunch that her problem is actually a dislocation of C1. And she has other things. She's had vertigo, she's had a few other things going on that all relate to that. So tomorrow we get into a chiropractor, and I think we could straighten it out.
Okay, we'll see, Dr. Tony.
Listen.
Anything, really.
I'm a mechanic.
Anything.
I'm a mechanic.
Just bear with me, guys, okay? Let's see. Tequila shot should handle any discomfort. You're right.
Yeah, that does that too, right?
We don't have any alcohol in the house, do we?
You drink it all.
No, I have. Oh, I don't drink it all.
There's alcohol in the house.
Oh, don't even laugh.
Like, what's that? Oh, it's just a glass of wine.
Oh. I have like 1 glass of wine a week. Oh my goodness. Don't make me laugh too hard, please. Is there a football game on?
Yeah, they're playing sports ball tonight.
They are?
Yeah. I think that that's why this country is in such this shitbag state that it's in. Because because we focus on sports ball, okay?
And they should be watching you?
No, sports ball, all right? What we need to be focusing on is sports balls, okay? Some sports and activities that take balls.
Okay.
We would be a completely different society if we did that. And that's my editorial for the evening.
Uncle Tony's mechanic, doctor, and repair. You should be a doctor, Tony.
Have I ever really been wrong?
Or a lawyer. Yeah, you've been
when?
wrong.
No, I mean with the medical stuff?
Yes.
When?
Plenty of times.
Oh, come on. I've been fixing this family now for 40 years. Everybody's alive. Everybody's doing good.
Alive.
Come on.
Dr. Jimmy Bobby. What are knuckle cracking ducks using little kid names? Ow, 0. Oh, too funny. This is not medical advice. No, it's not.
I would if I was just a couple of years younger. Like if I was like in my early 50s. If I was in my early 50s, I think at this stage of the game, I would just stop doing YouTube and go into like chiropractic because
Really?
yeah, I think it's very interesting.
Wouldn't.
What's that?
Oh, you wouldn't.
No, I'm serious.
You really wouldn't.
Okay.
Could you imagine?
So I never paid any attention to chiropractic medicine before, mostly because I don't want guys touching me. Oh here, do this, do that, right? So it's just not gonna fucking happen. So I found a female chiropractor. Her name was Dr. Jennifer.
Goodness.
And I had to because I couldn't walk. Okay, I got to the point like every 3 days my back was going back out again. As soon as I could stand up straight, I'd throw it out again. So I found Dr. Jennifer. She's a miracle worker. Okay, so within like 2 or 3 visits, she had me straightened out. And now I just went through this whole move of lifting things and tugging things and dragging things and pulling things and carrying things. Nothing. I feel great. My back hasn't felt this good since I was an embryo. All right. So every time I go there, they have the maps. What's so funny?
Yeah, nothing.
They have the maps of the nervous system and how it runs through the skeletal system and how all of these different things are related. And I'm like, Jesus, that's so simple, okay? Compared to, let's say, automotive wiring. So the human body is wired like, let's say, an early 1970s car, okay? Not quite as simple and straightforward as like something from 65 and earlier, 66 and earlier, but not nearly as complicated as, let's say, an 80s car, where things really start to get integrated, right? So the human body is actually wired very similar to, let's say, a 1975-ish era car. And I'm looking at this, I'm like, this makes perfect sense. I get this. This makes sense.
Okay.
So.
Well, at least you feel better. That's good.
Now I understand it. You know what I mean? And I would actually pursue that, but I'm just too old. I'd be dead by the time Well, at this stage of the game, you look ahead and you say,
hopeful, Tony.
well, I'll be dead by the time dinner is ready. It's like,
No, it's not true.
when you get to this age, that's how you look at things, At my age, you know more dead people than you do live people.
Ian Kelly says, new shop is making for good content.
I love the new shop. I love the new shop. It feels right. It's got the right energy. It's the right size. The lighting is great. The organization of it is great. I'm still fumbling around, like finding where I want to put things and so on and so forth. But it's so nice. The old place was big, but it was a warehouse. The high ceilings and it's just right. This place is just tight. It feels like I belong there. So.
Yeah, I was watching it before the video the last one that we put up.
Yeah.
I actually watched it again after it was up, and it looks so cozy in there.
It's cozy.
Yeah, it looks like a mechanic works in there. Whereas
Exactly.
the old shop was kind of like weird. It didn't have that kind of vibe.
So the old shop, I'd get there in the morning, do whatever I had to do, shoot, go back and forth, work on stuff, okay? But I never really lingered or anything. And was it night before last? Usually at the point where I'll sit down and just mellow out and watch TV, I was like, nah, I'm gonna go to the shop and work on the Jeep. And I went up to the shop and I ripped the head off the Jeep, and it was, I don't know, I guess maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock by the time I got home. And I was great. It was like, okay, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is how I usually do things. So that the last shop took something out of me. It's hard to explain. I'm very susceptible to what most people would think to be intangibles. And I just literally had that happen today. So I got rid of a bunch of bikes, but I kept the ones that I really like, right? So I kept my Super Cub. How could you not love the Super Cub? I kept my my orange Sportster Roadster, the 2002, and I kept that black 883C that I picked up, okay? And I did a video on that. So the black bike had...
Keep going. We'll be right back. Franco wants to know if there's AC in your shop.
Yes, heat and AC.
Yes, both.
So the black bike had this thing on it,
So
okay?
ugly.
Which is it is the most hideous thing. So what I noticed over the last, I've been avoiding the garage. My garage here at the house. I've been avoiding it. And usually I'll go in there and I'll bite down something or tinker around, whatever it is, just a few minutes. But lately, I've been since I brought that black bike home, I've been avoiding the garage. And I realized it's because of this, okay? It's because of this. Because it's so hideous and it's so prominent. So I went this morning and I
messing
grabbed.
up the mojo in the garage.
It messed up, yeah. I'm telling you. So this morning I went. I found a stock seat on Marketplace. I went. I grabbed it. I stuck it on the bike, and I'm like, oh, I get it. This is all. It's like the splinter in your toe. You know what I mean? It's just a tiny little thing that you really shouldn't, but it wrecks your whole deal. Well, yeah, right. It's off. Oh God. Yeah.
If you want it, it's for sale.
It's for sale.
Let's see.
Make an offer. We'll throw it at you.
Dead Dodge Garage says, "You happy Sunday, everybody."
Happy Sunday, Jamie. Jamie filled in last Wednesday night for Kiwi, who no longer talks to me evidently, and that's fine.
Kiwi's not on here yet.
That's fine. Kiwi can just join the list of everybody else who doesn't talk to me anymore. There's dozens of them. Yeah, good luck.
Dozens of them? No,
Yeah.
there's not that many.
But Jamie filled in last Wednesday night, and Jamie goes live on his channel, Dead Dodge Garage, an hour after we get started. So he goes on 8 o'clock Central Time. So whatever, right? So you're done hanging out here, go over to Jamie's and hang out, and then come back here and go back and forth and keep your life interesting. Variety is the spice of life.
Zero says it's even ruining the mojo in that room.
It is. Am I right? What kind of sick, demented?
It's probably for a very heavy person. Maybe that's why. Maybe he had a big butt. I don't know.
Somebody
Right.
who
A big guy.
molests zoo animals,
Tony, don't say
okay,
things like that.
would put that on anything.
Tony.
Oh, God.
Dead Dodge Garage says it's okay. I still like you. For now. For now. What'd you do? What'd you do?
I don't know. I made a loud noise.
Okay.
Okay.
The spinal cord is a CAN bus.
Bingo. Exactly.
So, like, do you guys diagnose your family the same way? All you mechanics? Do you, like, do the same thing? Like, somebody gets sick in your family and you diagnose them like a car?
Please.
The seat is ugly, probably comfortable, though. Was it comfortable? You rode on it.
It was so horrible. My ass couldn't really, get comfortable on it. You know what I mean? Just because they knew how bad it was. I don't care how comfortable it is. It's hideous. It's hideous.
Okay, so Mitchell wants to know, can you guys communicate with me directly to reschedule the discussion? This whole comments thing really isn't working.
I know.
Ow.
Let me talk about it with Kathy afterwards.
I've been down a week, so I really haven't been in the emails.
It's been a very chaotic week. She's been overworked, keeping up with the shirts.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Her and Crystal. Yes, guys, you bought the hell out of those shirts.
Yeah, I've been working my tail off.
Thank you so much. I could probably take like a couple of months off now.
Thank you,
but
Mitchell.
we're not going to. So yeah, thank you very much for supporting us with the shirts and all. I think we still have a couple hundred left. Yeah,
We had to reorder because we ran out.
Yeah.
And we got a new batch in.
Yeah, popular shirt that was.
Mhm. Yeah, but I'm printing still some of the ones that I don't have in stock. So
I'm gonna switch
it's
to
been
soda now.
very busy.
We're done with the coffee. Now we go to the soda.
Chongo says Mustang seats are terrible.
It is ugly. It's ugly. There's some kind of hateful, satanic thing designed that. It's horrible. I can't imagine anybody actually buying that, much less installing it on a bike.
Sarah says, Kathy's sick, new shop, Kiwis and SOB, now ugly seats. It's been a week.
He's not an SOB. He just joined a long list of people who don't talk to me anymore.
He's gonna talk to you. Did you piss him off? See, here he is. Kiwis, Classics, and Customs. Hey,
He's
guys,
there.
What's up?
Did he come to tell me off?
I don't know.
He just popped in to tell me off.
Kiwi, Tony thinks you don't love him anymore. Funny. Let's see. No Super Bowl? No Super Bowl here, Charlie.
Which? Who?
Super Bowl? That football game.
The sports ball. Yeah, no.
I didn't even know until like 2 hours ago. That was a football game.
I was thinking, yeah, you know,
So
maybe
out of
really,
touch I am.
maybe I want to watch a bunch of grown men running around a field chasing
Okay.
a bull. And I said, no, let's go on. Let's do our live.
GC says that Jeep head gasket was an awesome video.
Thank you.
My ex-wife destroyed my 4.0 by blowing that and then trading it in without me.
Nice, nice.
I'm sorry.
Well, now we know how she became an ex. I hear the sound of border collie destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's okay. It's another thing we have to change. Let's see. Kiwi hasn't answered yet.
Because he's not talking to you either.
Sipping bourbon. Oh, he's sipping bourbon with his feet up.
Getting ready to tell me off. That's okay. A little liquid courage. Go ahead. Don't worry about it. I'm ready. I'm prepared.
So I think you need to explain to him that, like, you've been trying to reach him, but
well, I haven't
he
been
says,
trying to.
Tony, I texted you earlier, but you didn't respond.
What did he do?
He texted you earlier, but you didn't respond.
No.
You didn't? What are you telling me? Didn't?
Oh, yes, he did. Sorry, Kiwi. He says, you going up against the Super Bowl tonight.
He's such a jerk, Tony. Tony's like, oh, I texted him over and over. He's ignoring me. He hates me now.
Well, no, it's not that I texted him over and over. I was expecting him. So, okay, here's the messages, okay? All right. So he texts me. He says, fuck me, it's a long way, right? And then he asked me if I was practicing my haka.
He says, no, mate, why would that be?
So then when I saw him, I didn't respond to that, but when I saw him on the TV coming home, right?
Yeah.
I texted him, well done, congrats.
Mm-hmm. We believe you. Don't put Kiwi's phone number on there.
Oh, yeah. All right, well, yeah, go ahead, call Kiwi. Tell him you're proud of him, okay? So,
he hates me now. Oh, I didn't push send.
all right, so I said, well done, congrats, okay? And
He's
then,
doing this emoji.
let's see.
Hands over his face.
Like there was no response. There was no
It's
response.
dramatic.
But I figured that's fine. He's talking to people he likes. So after about an hour, it was about 11:30 or so.
Oh
I
my
texted him.
goodness.
I says, let me know when you're at the shop tomorrow. So that was Friday night. So I'm gonna crash now. Good night.
Okay.
And then he responded, cheers, mate. Which, as far as I know, that means like up yours. Because I speak English. You know what I mean? But that was all I heard from him. So that was Friday night. Text me when you're going to be at the shop tomorrow. And he didn't text me all day Saturday. And then he didn't text me all
busy.
today.
He's exhausted. He's just drove from California to Tennessee.
So I just assumed that he's like...
With no heat.
I've had it with him.
You're a little dramatic. Harry's laughing.
All right, so we're not on the outs.
No.
I'll come by
don't
your
think
place
so.
tomorrow. I'm gonna bring you a seat.
Too much, Tony. Oh my goodness. That's the past. It's over. Oh my goodness. So Kiwi, Tony's coming tomorrow to the shop. All right. Let's see. Usher just endorsed swapping carbs to EFI Holly sniper units, UTG.
What was that now?
Usher? Who's Usher?
Who's Usher? I don't know.
Just endorsed swapping carbs to EFI Holly sniper units.
I mean, okay, who are you going to follow, all right? Somebody who's obviously been around the block a few times, okay? Moi, right? Or somebody who shows people to their seats in the theater. All right? So now, I don't think that guy is maybe he's good to tell you which size popcorn is the best bargain. Okay? How many squirts of butter? Maybe he's good for that. But I do cars.
You're gonna rebuild his 392, right?
I wish you would keep the poly head in that thing. Hey, I'll definitely build this for you too. I picked up a Hemi today. Yeah, last night. I picked up a Hemi, another Hemi, a 426. We're going to do a show and tell video on tomorrow.
Kiwi says, I didn't go to the shop till late today. Of
Uh,
course, he's exhausted.
he was soaking his little tootsies, is what he was doing. Taking a bubble bath.
Yeah, you think
Yeah.
that? No, I don't think so.
With that accent? Definitely. He took a bubble bath.
You're being funny. Zero posted a link to Kiwi's channel. Go sub to Kiwi.
Yes. I have to resub to Kiwi. I unsubbed.
Did you unsub?
I unsubbed this afternoon. I said he's not talking to me anymore.
Oh my goodness.
So I was like,
That's dramatic.
unsub. You know what I mean?
Oh my goodness, Tony. Let's see. Shoehorn Jackson, Tony, do you have any advice on using a dry sump engine oiling system on an older engine?
Why? Just, I mean, honestly, why? What issue are you attempting to overcome with a dry sump system? Because generally speaking, they're
What was that burpee, okay?
yeah. Well, the dry sumps do that to me. Okay. Dry sumps give me gas.
It's one of those nights, isn't it?
So honestly, right? The dry sump system is so complicated, so expensive, takes up so much space that it has to really be serving a purpose to incorporate it into any type of streetcar. You know, so what is the purpose that you're trying to overcome?
Okay. So this is Kathy, yes it is. Haha, I needed this. Good. Good. Oh, let's see. Alright, Charlton Zimmerman. Kiwi started drive with old wires and plugs. He could have damaged the 318.
Nah.
No?
Yeah, in a textbook world of things actually having to be exactly so, sure. Could have caused catastrophic engine failure. In reality, it just ran like shit until you put new plugs and wires on it.
Mopar Den says, unsubbing in a fit of rage is good for the endorphins.
I do it all the time, Mopar Den. I sub to people just so that I can get pissed off and unsub from them.
Take that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really the only thing I can do, you know what I mean? If I call them, they laugh at me, so I just unsub.
Oh my goodness. Kiwi sent Tony a message earlier and Tony missed it. Oh, he's just recapping. I guess it's a recap.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's recap.
Ow.
That's an instant replay.
It's
Yeah, for you people who follow in sports ball.
Kiwi says I'll be there eating with open arms. Where?
Eating where?
Where?
I'm
Will you be
hungry,
eating?
actually. What?
I don't know. At the shop? I don't know. I'm so confused. Let's see. Silver Eagle Cobra. FYI, Tony, there are only 2 likes so far. There's only 2 likes.
Oh my God. Well, that's all I deserve, honestly. That's all I deserve.
Oh my goodness, Tony. Pawn Surprise, it says, and don't forget to leave a paragraph hate comment after you unsubscribe.
Right. I'm unsubscribing from you. You know what's funny too?
It's so funny.
Honestly, right? So we do like, you know, boomer chair videos. Oh God, we get great views. Okay, we do EV videos, exploding buses, stuff like that. We get killer views, right? And we're always getting people in the comments. That's it. This channel isn't what it used to be. I'm unsubbing, right?
It gets so mad.
It gets them mad. They get mad, right? This isn't the Tony I remember. Unsub. Okay,
Somebody said I
bye.
remember when this
Bye.
used to be a Mopar
Yeah,
channel.
I remember when this was never a Mopar channel. We do Mopar stuff. I have Mopars. I use Mopars to illustrate instead of like most people use Chevys. I use Mopars. It's that simple, right? So we're never a Mopar channel. Dead Dodge Garage is a Mopar channel.
Right.
Go sub to him.
Right.
So
You cover everything but use Mopars to demonstrate.
yes, yeah, we cover everything. I've done videos on every type of engine there is. I will tell you, I'd say up front, I have built more Chevy engines than I have Chryslers over the course of my life. All right, so we do these videos, okay? And the people are complaining and they're bitching. But in the meantime, I'm making bank. We're doing great, okay? Certain videos hit a certain demographic and bring a certain advertiser in, and the rates go way high. So you can make a lot of money off of a very simple,
Relatively
also when
advertising rates were high during the Christmas
no.
season.
Not necessarily. It depends on what it is. Like, for instance, I do an EV video. They don't know, the computers don't know if it's a good EV video or a bad EV video. They just know you're saying EV and electric video. So you get like Fisker and like all these other electric car companies. They pay a lot of money for advertising because it's all government money, because the government gives them money and they just spread it all over the place.
Kiwi says they still love you, Tony.
And not in a homo way, right? No homo.
No.
Kiwi. Did he type no homo?
No, he did like this emoji.
Yeah, no homo.
Dr. Art says, hello everybody, and we think we may have found a dog. We will let you know on Wednesday.
Nice.
Very nice.
All right. So anyway, we do these videos, okay? And we enrage these people, and they're like, unsub, I have to let you know before I leave. Unsub, okay?
What you're doing is so bad.
Bye, right? But in the meantime now, I get all these complaints, I'll go back and do the other stuff. So that's what I did. The last 3 videos I did were grounded, hands-on, in-the-shop videos, right? And you know what you get? Crickets! Crickets! Okay? Crickets! Content. Let me see here. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's also, I guess maybe people are busy. I don't know.
Tow vehicle, right? 16,000 views. I can't live on that. Okay? Compression test, okay? Like, seriously, this is like the most like grassroots, down to earth video you could possibly imagine. You wouldn't think it applies to so many people. Yeah, and this is exactly what people are asking for. Oh, go work on stuff, do stuff, okay? Yeah, you know what? 18,250 freaking views. I can't live on that.
Tony ranting too much about people, unsubscribing.
Yeah, unsubscribe. All he is, just unsub. Just get it out of the way now. Because I have to do videos that you guys are going to hate just so I can pay the bills. So the last one, the blown head gas going, what's this thing got?
That one's better.
It did a little bit better, 24.7 thousand views. All right, well, okay, that's.
Jacob says I'm unsubscribing because you unsubscribed from Kiwi.
But I'm going to go resubscribe to Kiwi.
Okay.
I'll do it on my phone. I'm going to.
You've gone Hollywood. New city carpet. Have you gone Hollywood, Tony?
All right. So Kiwi's resubscribe. Okay.
So Kiwi says we had new plugs and wires on it. One of the first things we did, those anti-foulers destroyed 3 plugs and wires.
Oh yeah, the anti-foulers. But I mean, yeah, you got the Hemi. The Hemi is cool, but it would be so much cooler. Find a tri-power manifold for that poly, because they're out there. I saw one recently actually. But we'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll come by the place. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Eat More Coleslaw says, Uncle Tony, can you do a video on tire plugs?
Tire plugs. Yeah, that'll get 4,000 views.
Oh my goodness. T-shirt, I hate subscribers.
I hate the one saving grace. So the one saving grace of doing these videos that don't get views, right? Even though like the people insist I do them. The one saving grace is that those are called evergreen type of videos. So for years now, I'll get paid, like those videos, I'll keep getting recirculated, and I'll get paid over the long term for it. But still, it's just, this is what happens. We get, we do what people want, and it's like, nobody home.
Ski says, no closed caption on live. Hard to watch the game at the same time. Sorry, Ski. I didn't turn it on. I don't really have that option when I do it from my iPad. Only when I do it from the computer. Let's see. unsubscribers. Don't let the door kick you in the ass. Pat says, Tony's right about drum brakes. I just watched a 68 Ford Ranger slam on the brakes and stop before it ran over a golden retriever in downtown Rome.
They work fine.
Very good.
Then when they don't work is if you don't know to ride them through deep puddles, and you're going through a deep puddle, you got to ride the brakes through the puddle where you got water in there, and then the first stop, just nobody home. Or repeated high-speed stops. So if you're on the road, okay, if you're out in traffic, and you do the kind of like repeated high-speed stops that require a disc brake setup, you don't belong on the road, okay?
Ouch.
You see what I'm saying? You are a menace. All right, so if you take an autocross, and that's great, you know what I mean, awesome. You do all these different things that are great, but if you got a driver that you're only driving the car, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, brake fade is a problem. Brake fade isn't a problem until you've done 2, 3, 4 repeated high-speed brakes, high-speed stops. Then they'll fade. But who in their right mind drives like that?
Let's see. So Eagle Corpus says, Tony, you don't need paid. We know you're already made your millions.
I wouldn't say millions. YouTube could be a good gig, but you have to know how to play it, right? Most people don't know how to play it. I just watched a video from, who was it? Oh, okay, I'm not going to mention his name. But I watch his videos. He's a very smart guy, very, very smart guy. And he was like, let me show you how much I make on YouTube. And I always click on that because I want to see how much people make on YouTube. And the numbers that he quoted were like ridiculously low. It's like, I mean, you have to know how to play the YouTube game to get the right numbers. So some people, you got 2 people that get the same views, same type of content, same views and everything, and some people get a garbage CPM, which is what you get paid, cost per milli, or you get a really good one. And he does the same kind of material that I do, same basic kind of audience, but God doesn't make any money. I don't know how you do this.
No. Let's see. New City Corporate says it's the same Tony I know from Staten Island. He's just getting warmed up. What was that thing I made you read from Cars Illustrated? The Tim thing? I read that and that was freaking hilarious. Oh, you should do that for the channel. Answer people's questions.
So this is Cars Illustrated, right? Uncle Tony's Garage is Cars Illustrated. For you guys who don't know that magazine, right? It's a magazine that I did for about 3 years back in the middle 1980s, and it's like a cult magazine. I see them trading for ridiculous amounts of money. Like they'll pop up on eBay for like $20, $30 a copy, which is like unheard of for a 1980s car magazine. But many of those issues I literally wrote cover to cover. I mean, like I wrote the cover lines. I wrote not only my column, but I wrote the publisher's column. I wrote Cliff Gromer's column. I wrote all of these different columns.
And then under pseudonyms.
What's that?
And under pseudonyms.
Yeah, some names, some. Oh God, I forget. I used Anthony Bazzini, and I used a few different names, and then some of them there's no byline at all. If there's no byline at all, I wrote it.
Popular Cars was better, Gail says.
Yeah. I got a seat for you. So anyway, Uncle Tony's Garage is Cars Illustrated magazine, for lack of a better. So anyway, here's what happened, okay? I told the story. When did I just tell this story?
I don't know. But I only saw it because it came up on Facebook and it came through my newsfeed and I read it and I started crying because it was hilarious. And then we were eating dinner and I was like, did you write this? And I read it to you, remember? And you're like, yeah, I remember that.
The publisher insisted that we have a tech question and answer page, right? Because all of the other magazines had a tech question and answer page. So he insisted we have a tech question and answer page. The problem is, nobody ever writes to these magazines. Every one of those tech questions, okay.
You got hate mail though, didn't you?
Maybe the early, Tim was an instant. People
like
send
Tim, but
things.
you got hate mail.
Oh, I got hate
Yeah.
mail, yeah. I had trolls back then too. So here's the thing you have to understand about the magazine question and answer things, okay? So maybe perhaps the earliest magazines had people write in questions and the editors or the technical editor would answer the questions. Maybe the earliest ones were legit. And Stock Car Racing magazine, which I used to read religiously, even though I had zero interest in stock car racing, but the technical articles in there were brilliant. I learned so much from that magazine. And I think those were legit. But we were a small East Coast magazine, and there wasn't a soul that was going to write us. They weren't going to waste a freaking stamp to send us a question, all right, for us to answer. It just wasn't going to happen. And I tried explaining that, but nobody wanted to hear, oh, is this a 23-year-old kid? What does he know, right? All right. So, and I was 23 years old. So they insisted on it, and I said, fine, you want a tech question and answer? I'm going to give you a tech question and answer. So I made up all of these questions, and then I answered them, right? But I wasn't going to put my name or my face on this because I thought the whole thing was absurd. So I created this character called Tim, right? And Tim was actually taken from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the Tim the Enchanter. Mm-hmm. So we were at a party at the art director's house the night before, and we were watching Monty Python. And I got to the office before anybody else got there. I think I went right from the party to the office, and had to get this thing out. So I banged it out real quick, and I signed it Tim. And I brought it to the art director. What the hell was her name? I don't remember her name. I brought it to the art director, and she says, do you have the tech thing ready for me? I says, yeah, it's ready to go. Here you go, right? So I handed her a manuscript, and she says, all right, we need a picture for this. She says, what's his name? What's your name you using? I says, Tim, just Tim. So she says, okay, just Tim, fine. And then she says, we need a picture for this guy. So there was a business card, an IBM business card, right? Because at the time, the offices were just starting to get into the computers. So this IBM salesman came by and he left his card. So I looked at the card and it had this picture on him. And I says, here, use this guy. She says, I can't use that guy. We're going to get sued. I says, change him up a little bit.
Change him up.
Change him up a little bit. Right? So she says, what do you want me to do? I says, make him unique. So, and I said, and then put a bunch of question marks around his head. Because he's a question mark. Do we have a picture of Tim in here anywhere? Guys, hang on. I think I got a copy of Cards Illustrated here.
Where's my phone?
Oh, come on.
He's got it. Yeah. I don't know if we have any magazines
I
for Tim.
thought I saw.
I have it on my phone.
Do you?
Yeah, I'm getting it on my phone.
I don't know if
I
there's Cards
gotta check
Illustrated
that
anywhere. Hang on, guys. Going through a stack of magazines here. There we go. No, that's muscle car. Hang on. Okay, I got it. Oh, jeez. Yeah, like this issue, I believe this issue, I literally wrote every single story in this issue.
Oh, ow.
And I drove every car that's on the cover.
Did I message it to you?
Oh, here, I got it.
With that question in it?
This is, here, you gotta, is that lined
That's
up right?
you.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you're so cute.
I was adorable.
You're so
They
cute.
call me Tony Morpro, but I drive a Ford.
Where's that
Oh,
thing?
wait, this one doesn't have Tim in it?
I don't think so. but
Oh,
I have
damn
on
it.
my phone. I got it on my phone. Hang on, I saved it. I gotta find it. It's in my saved things.
Oh, wait, this was the first one. We called it back torque.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think we have any issues with Tim. Here, I
Hank.
got it. Here it is. Here. It's here.
I don't save magazines. That's why I don't have.
That's Tim. Can you just... That's the IBM guy.
Yeah. Let me see that again. Yeah. How prophetic. Because that looked ridiculous in 1983. And now it's like you wouldn't even notice I'm walking down the street.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, yeah. Holy moly.
So yeah, that was Tim. Tim became an overnight celebrity.
But because of the way you wrote the questions. I guess you could read this one. Because I was crying.
Go ahead, read it.
Okay, hang on. Alright. Okay, so here's a question. And I'm going to read the answer. Tim, my 1971 455 Pontiac is equipped with 10.7 to 1 Arias pistons, stock heads, and an Elbrock torque manifold topped by an 850 CFM Holley carb. It makes good power above 3,800 RPM, but lacks bottom end. What can I do? Enzo DiBiase, Oregon.
What was his name?
Enzo DiBiase, Oregon. He's from Oregon. Alright, here's the answer. Are you ready? When I was a child, I somehow got my head caught in a very tight confines of the space between the back of the toilet bowl and the bathroom wall. It was a dark, frightening place, damp, smelly, cramped, and covered with moist lint and dust, as mother never cleaned back there. My screams went on unheard for hours, and I struggled and struggled to free myself, finally collapsing from exhaustion. You can't imagine the terror my 4-year-old mind had to endure and how it traumatized me well into my teenage years. Those feelings come racing back when somebody leaves important information like camshaft specs and gear ratios out of a question like this.
That was classic Tim.
I can't, Tony. There were no Italians in Oregon back then.
Enzo DiBiase.
Right? Oregon.
So, Tim. So, I was drunk the first time I wrote that.
Were you?
Yes, because I had come right from Morgan's party over at his house. I had to go right from Morgan's place to the office to bang that out so they would have it first thing in the morning the same. But so naturally, when you're young, when you're a teenager, you know what I mean? When you're a teenager, you experiment with all different things, okay? And I did, right? So Tim had he had habits, like Tim would sniff glue, Tim did whippets, Tim dropped a bunch of acid. Tim had all of these things, and he would have these flashbacks as he answered the questions.
Character, you made him.
Yeah, he was right. He was a full blown. Tim was an entity, and he became like a cult. People they wanted to meet Tim. Mm-hmm. They would send Tim like drawings and stuff. Do you remember that? Or they all stayed at the office, really?
Yeah, they stayed at the office.
Yeah. People would
loved him.
They would write these pamphlets and hieroglyphics and shit like that. It was crazy. It was crazy, but Tim touched a nerve in there.
Hilarious. Don't disappoint me.
I try not to, but I will. I will.
Sure.
Disappointment is guaranteed.
So I went to pick her up in the rain. Is that from a story?
Which one was that now?
I don't know. So I went to pick her up in the rain.
I don't remember.
Dear Penthouse, I never thought this would happen to me. Scott McGurk sent you a super chat.
Thank you.
Let's see. One of the fuel pumps was failing in my 92 F-150. After your Marvel Mystery Oil video, I ran a bottle through the fuel system and it bought me some time.
Okay, so what happens, you have a vein style pump. All right? So this happens, okay? So if you've got any type of vein style pump, and like for like aftermarket pumps, like think Holly Blue pump, right? Or Red pump, any of those. So what happened was, the ethanol gas, if you let them sit for any amount of time, let's say for 6 months, a year, like that, the water separates in the bottom of the fuel pump, all right, and it'll rust the veins. The veins are like a super like precision fit into this rotor, it spins them. So if one of them sticks from the rust, your fuel pressure drops way down. Right? It'll work. You'll get fuel up there, but there really won't be any pressure behind it. So the Marvel Mystery Oil probably broke that rust film. It's just all it would take is just the slightest bit of like it's like what do you call that? What kind of rust is that? Like a flash rust. You know what I mean? That's all it would take. And the Marvel Mystery Oil broke that, and that's why your pressure came back up.
There you go. Dead Dodge Garage says, all right, I'm going on. I laughed way too hard about Tim.
I gotta tell you, I'm not proud of it.
You're not proud of a lot of that.
I'm honestly not proud of any of it. Like,
it was funny though. It was funny. A lot of it was funny.
You also have to understand, I was 23 years old.
Right, you're a kid.
I was functionally illiterate, really, at the time. I didn't know how to write or anything like that.
Well, you did fine.
It was rough. It was rough.
Oh my goodness. Uncle Tim would be a great alter ego character in your boomer chair segments.
Okay, Tourette's guy is like Uncle Tim, or is like Tim grown up.
Tim grown up?
Yeah.
Tim was grown up. Tim was an older man.
Well, Tim was like in his 30s.
Yeah.
Right, Tourette's guy was like in his late 40s, early 50s.
I don't know. Alpha 13 Dylan sent you super chat. Any tips and tricks for ball joints? Working on a 79 F body Aspen two-door. Thanks, Tony. Love the channel.
Tips or tricks for ball joints? Not really. I mean, I can't think of. So, okay, if you're gonna shock the ball joints loose, right? So the way I do them, I never use a pickle fork because I'm cheap and I try not to wreck the boots. So I don't use a pickle fork unless the boot is bad. Then I'll use a pickle fork. But if the boot is good, what I'll do is undo the nut, right? Get the nut about almost off, right? Like, so in other words, like so you've got a gap of, let's say, a quarter to a half an inch between the bottom of the nut and the top of the ball joint. And you take a hammer, right? Nice solid hammer, 3-pounder will work. And what you do is you shock, right? But now here's the thing, right? It's all, there's a technique, it's all in the wrist. See, I watch people do this, okay? And it'll go bang, 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 like that. And you can't do it like that, it won't work. It'll work, but you'll take like 40 shots at it before it finally separates. You have to snap your wrist with the hammer. It's like a whip. You make like a whip motion. And what that does is that shocks it, like it really shocks it. Like the follow through with the hammer, you hit it hard, it deadens the actual shock. But if you just smack it, it shocks good. And it only takes usually 2 or 3 shots like that. If you get it right, it's all in the wrist. You get it right and it'll pop loose.
New City Carpet says you were fine. John M says, I think your articles are pretty coherent. Are you sure it was you?
Yes, I'm positive it was me.
You write different than you talk.
I do.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, you gotta understand something about the way I wrote, okay? So, when I wrote, it's literally, okay, so like I got thrown out of school when I was 16, so I have absolutely 0 formal education. So, when I started writing, I had no idea of structure. I had no idea of punctuation. I had no idea of any of the rules that go with writing. So the only way that I could write was the way I thought. So the way a sentence would pop into my head is the way I would type it out. And the way I talk, like there's a pause, let's just say, right? I would include the pause, dot, dot, dot. I would always make a pause. It's not the right way to do it, but it's the way my brain thinks. So there was a lot of like crazy run-on sentences. There were a bunch of like 2-word paragraphs, 3-word paragraphs. I would make words up at certain points just
But
because.
that was what was good, though.
And that's why people related to it, because I was completely uneducated or informal about it. So people were like, oh yeah, this guy speaks the same language that I do, because I wasn't a writer, but I had literally hundreds of stories. I don't even know how many stories I had published.
Yeah.
I was good when I was in my heyday, right? When I was like banging them out. I was good for one full feature a day. Okay, so in other words, like a 3 to 4 page full feature. I could knock one of those out in a day, and then in addition to that, do like a couple of car features, which was like a car feature is generally like 4 or 5 paragraphs, 6 paragraphs with some captions. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Car features. At my peak, I'll tell this story. You'll remember this one. Okay, so needed money, right? I really needed money.
Very broke.
Very broke. Okay. So at this time, I'm spending all kinds of money on Hemis and shit like that. Like it was crazy. It was crazy. I had 2 kids, right? Paying all the bills like that, and then spending money on hot rod stuff. So we would run into periods of time when like just the cash flow shut off, right? So.
Plus, you had the Mustang. We were making payments.
Plus, I had the Mustang, right? So you're right. I had the Mustang at that time. So I was a staff freelancer for CSK, meaning that first they hired me. They gave me a job, but I noticed that the guys who were writing freelance were making more than the money than I was making at a job. So I went up. They got off my desk. I went into the publisher's office. I quit, and then I went back to my desk. I just kept writing. Because now it was like I'll get paid per story as opposed to getting paid per week. So that's what I did. So it was a good gig like that. I probably tripled my income.
You have to address this. Somebody says big time editing for Tony. Nobody edited your stuff.
I didn't allow. Well, okay. At first, yes, but very early on, they actually had to hire a copy editor, Jim Kosks. He does automotive industry stuff these days, right? Like newsletters, like the manufacturers' newsletters and stuff like that. They hired him as a full-time copy editor. Was writing so much material. They hired him as a full-time copy editor just to go through my stuff. But then I didn't like the fact that he was changing all of these things. I was like, but you changed it, but that's not what I actually said, or that's not what I intended. So after a while, I was like, no, nobody edits my stuff. And actually, I had a deal with Hot Rod Magazine. Hot Rod Magazine was going to send me up as the East Coast editor. We're going to set up a whole East Coast office and shit like that. And at that time, I did an article for them called A Few Moments in Hell, what it's like to drive a fuel altered. And when I got the magazine back, like it was the story again, when I got the magazine back, I saw that they had edited it. And I was like, done. I am doing nothing for you guys again. If I give it to you, you print it exactly the way I give it to you. That's how I wrote it. That's how it gets printed. So, anyway, make a long story short, this is a couple of years previous to that. So, about 1987. So, I'm the staff freelancer over at CSK, and I'm writing for Muscle Car, High Performance Pontiac, Vet, Cars Illustrated, and I'm doing new car previews. I'm doing monster truck books. I'm doing all of this stuff, everything that they're putting through. Okay, I'm banging these stories out, but it wasn't making enough money. We had fallen behind. Actually, you know what? It was machine work I had done on a Hemi. Do you remember that? I used that shop.
I feel like I think that you took the job position so that we could have insurance to pay for John, because we paid cash when we had Anthony.
Paid cash for Anthony, had the
hospital,
insurance for John.
But we got the insurance for John because it was like very expensive.
Then I quit right after that.
And then you quit right after that.
But leading up to this, I had a Hemi that I had. This was before I started hanging out at PG Machine, so I had a block that I sent off to a machine shop. When I got the bill back, it was like way more than I expected.
Plus, you had all those long distance phone calls.
Plus, yeah, my long distance phone call, my phone bill back then in the 1880s was like $700 a month, $1,000 a month. It was
Do you
insane.
remember
Right?
that when you used to get charged for long distance?
Oh, please. So we're broke. We're just broke. It's like macaroni and cheese, and I got to come up with some cash, and I got to come up fast, right?
We paid everything.
So I work for CSK, but there's a competing publisher in Manhattan called Harris, and Harris used to do puzzle books, and he did I helped put together the first issue of New Woman magazine, and I helped put together the first issue of Guitar World magazine. So I was deep into this shit, okay? And I used to show up to work looking exactly like I do right now.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Oh, stop
You
it.
used to wear button shirts.
When?
You used to wear Hawaiian shirts.
Hawaiian shirts.
Button shirts. Yeah.
I never wore button shirts.
Well, shirts that were like Hawaiian shirts, but not a Hawaiian design.
Occasionally.
Yeah,
but I was mostly I
buttons.
wore t-shirts and jeans and just
No, you wore shirts.
grease on my
had
finger.
Shirts.
Right.
You look nice.
So
Your hands are really clean.
for a little while they were clean.
Yeah.
Not for long. Not for long. But it wasn't during this period of time, for sure. My hands had to be dirty at this particular period of time
Harry's
because I remember
making
the
a
things
face.
that were going on.
Shirts? Yeah, he wears shirts.
Shirts
They
with
got
buttons.
buttons, yeah.
Now those are only reserved. Now the shirts with buttons are reserved for funerals and only people I'm going to really miss, and there aren't that many of them. So
Our first date, you wore a shirt with buttons.
let me tell this
Go
freaking
ahead.
story.
I'm gonna dress Tony up
All
for
right.
the day.
So we're broke. I need cash. So I work a deal with this is all under the table now, right? I work a deal with the publisher over at Harris to give him a magazine called Street and Strip.
Supercar.
No, it was before Street and Strip Supercar.
No?
It was called Hot Streetcars.
Oh, okay. Hot Supercar.
Hot Streetcars.
Was that the one that somebody made the drawing for the T-shirt with the fat guy on the starting line? Do you remember that?
I think so.
We made a T-shirt
I
and
think
somebody
so.
did the artwork for it, and like the guy that was like starting the cars with his hands up, like had fat hanging
Yes,
over
yes.
his pants.
Yes.
And we were like, why is he fat? I'm like, that looks weird.
All right. So I
remember
go.
that shirt.
I go to Harris and I sell him a magazine called Hot Streetcars. He gives me $6,000 for that.
Tony never wears shorts. No.
No, I haven't worn shorts since I was like an embryo.
Again with the embryo.
It's a very early age. Men should never, ever show skin below the neck.
All right.
Ever.
None of your
Under any
business.
circumstances.
People will dress how they want to dress.
All right. So,
Poor Neil, he's still recovering.
for Neil, yes, I'm going to get to that. Who said that?
Oh, new city carpet. Poor Neil. Talking about Neil Van Opry.
I'm going to get to that. So,
I wonder if he's listening.
they're going to give me $6,000 to do this magazine. So the way this works is called packaging, okay? The publisher will give you a budget. You get a budget of $6,000. Now you spend this any way you have to, and you produce the magazine for them. They obviously cover all the printing costs and all of that stuff. You get $6,000 to put the magazine together for the editorial package. So typically, you'll buy a story from this guy, you'll buy a story from that guy, and then this is how you budget it out. And whatever's left over is what you keep. That's how the magazine business works. As a packager. So I get a check for $6,000.
There's a lot of money back then.
Yeah.
It's a good amount.
Okay, but now I had a lot of stuff to pay. I had a lot of bills to pay, right? So now the deadline is coming up on this magazine. It's due tomorrow. I have zero of this magazine done. Zero of this magazine done. But it has to be at the publisher in Manhattan first thing in the morning. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. It's got to be in Manhattan. So I call up Neil. I says, Neil, we got to do a magazine. He says, all right, which magazine we doing now? And I was like, no, I mean, we have to do a magazine tonight.
Right now.
Right now. If I'm lying, I'm dying, okay? So back then, Neil would pretty much go along with anything I came up with. God bless him. He was like, he was a real trooper. Neil was like my photographer and a writer, right? And he did a channel called Stickman Garage for a little while. So Kathy talks to him all the time. So what we did was we raided the files at CSK and found a bunch of stories. Okay, we found a bunch of pictures. So the way this would work was a magazine would keep files of pictures of cars, and you would feed those into the magazine as you were going along. So when you see a car feature, that's how it comes out of the files. So, we need a Pontiac. Here's some Pontiacs. Which one do you think will work? Okay, put that one in. Oh, we need a race car. Okay, here's race cars. Put this one in. Right? That's how that works. Well, we went to CSK and we stole a bunch of files out of the cabinet.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. And Neil and I went back to my house, and this was like 6 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. Kathy, am I making this up?
No.
Okay.
No, I was there.
This is like 6 o'clock at night. And Neil and I wrote this entire magazine, every story, every caption, everything, 100% of it.
I kept making coffee.
Tens of thousands of words. Banging away at the typewriter as fast as we could.
You had the flow sheet. It was all spread across the table, right?
Yeah. When we made the flow sheet on the fly, we need this, we need that. Okay.
I was watching you do that.
Okay. Neil and I wrote, there was like maybe 14 or 15 stories in this magazine. Neil and I wrote every single one of those stories overnight. The sun came up. We started typing like the last of them, just like, because now you got to do the captions, you got to do the titles, the blurbs, you got to do the contents page and all of this, right? So we banging this stuff out as fast as we could, just banging, slam it all into a package. I jump in my car, I drive to Manhattan, I get up in the office, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, like on the money, I hand everything off to the art director, sayonara, and that was it. Like, and like 2 months later, we get back the magazine, and it was called Hot Streetcars, and there may be a copy of it here someplace.
I don't know. The Ann Landers of Performance.
What was that?
The Ann Landers of Performance.
Oh, God, you have no idea. You have no idea. Neil, I put him through a lot. We did a lot of stuff like that. But you got to survive.
Probably Wade doesn't want to work with you.
What's that?
Probably Wade doesn't want to work with you right now.
Yeah, listen, a word of advice.
He's tired.
A word of advice to anybody who in the future, because you say, I like Tony. I think I'd like to work with him. You don't. You don't ever, I'm serious. You don't ever want to get involved in any sort of like business endeavor with me.
It's like warfare.
Because really, seriously, it's war. I just make war.
It's funny though.
You had to be there.
That was crazy. Yeah.
You had to be there. How much coffee did we drink that night?
A lot. I kept making coffee. Can't imagine the hand cramps after that.
You have no idea.
You did it with typewriters.
We did a manual. No, it wasn't manual. We had electric typewriters.
Like word processors.
No, Neil had a word processor and I had a typewriter.
Are you sure? I thought by that time we had a word processor.
No,
which is like barely different than a typewriter.
No, he had the word processor. I had the typewriter.
But he likes the fancy equipment.
Yeah, he was high tech.
There was no Red Bull, no.
That was before Red Bull.
You and Tony were a powerful team. No doubt it was the best. We made a good team.
We did make it. We made a great friggin' team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, just went for fun with Tony. No business.
No exaggeration now, okay? So I met Neil. Neil owned a speed shop called RPM. It was on Highland Boulevard. So this is like maybe 2 years before, right? So he owned this speed shop, and I bought some stuff off of him, whatever it was, I don't remember. And he ended up going out of business. And in the meantime, I had started doing the magazines. So I ran into him, I guess, maybe a year or so after I started writing. And he was like, that's what you're doing now. I started writing for these freaking car magazines. He says, really? I says, dude, the pay is really good. You could make some scratch with this. He says, well, I always thought about, and then the next day, boom, he's there in the office making magazines.
It's awesome. Mark says, how many teachers did you have in school that never would have believed you would become a published magazine author?
100% of them.
Right. Yeah.
There was not a single teacher or authority figure in my childhood that you could not convince that I wasn't going to be a career criminal.
But you weren't.
Yes, I wasn't.
It's funny. Let's see. The teachers were too busy saying, "This is the worst class I have ever taught." Maybe. Maybe. Once those teachers seen it was about cars, they would have understood.
No, no. I was a bad kid. I was a bad kid.
Let's see. Tell us that funny story about those three guys, Uncle Tony, David Bizarre, and Casper, are building a 318 with a two-barrel.
Huh?
They're talking about the 318, the Mission Impossible one.
Ask your mom about that story. She knows all the details.
Right. I think Tony's explained about that already a bunch of times.
I explained it to your mom, and she'll be able to fill you in on all the details.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Tony, you missed your opportunity to break into Kiwi's files while he was gone for YouTube content.
Now it occurred. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Zero says, "Look, being a criminal isn't as easy as it looks." Let's see.
So,
Tim says, "Ask your mom." Is that the T-shirt?
Bob Dylan, and this is the truth. It's like one of the greatest wisdoms. You know, Bob Dylan said it takes an honest man to live outside of the law, and that's the absolute truth.
Let's see what else is in that paper. No, it's tobacco. It's a cigarette. Oh, Timmy says, "Ask your mom." T-shirt idea of the century. Let's see. Yes, you were a bad kid depending on your vision, but really just untapped smart thinking.
I was bored. I was bored. The whole system just pissed me off. I mean, going back to the time I was like 6, 7 years old, like, don't tell me to do this shit.
Mark says, "I remember an East Coast magazine, Hot Cars, with the author and auto reviewer Seymour Balls."
Yeah, that was. Okay, I used to refer to that. Okay, so there was a previous generation. I came along in the middle '80s, right? But there was a previous generation that went back to like the late '60s up until like the later '70s, the middle '70s, and well, Marty Shore did a lot of those books. Seymour Balls, oh God, who were the other ones? Fred Macarat was the publisher. But there was a lot of these magazines, and some of them were like hot cars, hot street cars, the original Hot Street Cars. I stole that title. There was like funny car and factory experimental, super rodder factory funny car experimental. Like, well, they made all of these crazy names up, right? There was tons of them, and I used to refer to that as East Coast automotive schlock, right? So the publisher that I started working for, Steve Schneider, great guy. Had no idea he was getting involved with me, but Steve liked me. So that I used to refer to that as East Coast automotive schlock because I grew up reading. My primary magazines were Carcraft, Hot Rod, and Superstock and Drag Illustrated. And Superstock was an East Coast magazine, but it had a West Coast. What's the word I'm looking for? It was quality. So when I came aboard at CSK, they had put the first issue of Cars Illustrated out. I wasn't in the first issue, and it wasn't selling. So I was like, okay, we need to try to be more like Carcraft 1971, right after Terry Cook left, right? So, I know Terry Cook was a great editor, but like the John Asher period, okay, Ro McGonigal. So I said, we got to be more like Carcraft, 1971 to 1974. And then they went into the van thing. But Carcraft, that was what I focused in on. And so I says, we need to look like Carcraft. So I had the biggest fights with these people, or the publisher, my publisher, over things like logos and stuff like that. And this was a big deal. I had to actually show this to him. Like you would think, you're in the publishing business, you figure this out, right? So you put the car magazines. You go to a rack, a magazine rack, and you got all the car magazines laid out. And you got Hot Rod, Carcraft, Superstock, blah blah blah, and they all have their title in white letters, red rectangular box with white letters. Ours wasn't. Ours was just this stylized cars thing. It was horrible. And the first few issues went out like that. And I was like, I pulled teeth, and I finally got them. Actually, you know how I got them to do this? Change the logo? I told them to do a Mopar, high-performance Mopar magazine, because they were dead set against doing any type of Mopar magazine. So first, I threatened to go on strike, which would have hurt their production on Muscle Car, Vet, Pontiac, and any of the other books that were going. So so they eventually gave in, and they says, okay, we'll put an issue of high-performance Mopar out. So put the first issue of high-performance Mopar out, becomes the best-selling magazine in that company's roster. So once I had that, then I was able to do the logo, to change the logo to that. And then this magazine started to take off because people identify, you're on a newsstand, you look for car magazines, all the car magazines have that, that basic logo. So we changed it to, why am I even talking about this? This is, I could go on.
Who is Nick Brunt?
Cliff Cromer.
Okay.
That was one of, the Brunt brothers is one of Cliff's names that he wrote under.
Magazine rack, glad you elaborated. R.I.P. Popular Hot Rodding.
It sucked. I always hated that
I hated
magazine.
that magazine.
I loathed that magazine.
You did?
Yes.
Phil Engeldrum, Franco said.
Phil Engeldrum was in there too. Fred Macarat, Engeldrum, Marty Shore. There were a bunch of different people that were, but that was the generation before me. That was the generation before me.
Abel says, Tony, could you please interview Casey Putsch? I don't know how to say the last name. The creator of the new channel, The Golden Shovel, Casey Putsch. Sees eye to eye on you with the latest boomer chair subjects.
I'll look into it. The name rings a bell, but I can't really.
Let's see. Ask Tony, this is Joe K, on how he decided to use the word cattywampus in the Dead video. How did you decide to use cattywampus?
It's just one of those words that's in the arsenal to describe things that aren't quite balanced or aren't quite uniform. Cattywampus.
Tony's caffeine free tonight. Are you caffeine free?
I
You had coffee? You had coffee?
You get coffee?
How
The dogs are going nuts here.
Yeah. How did Bottle Rocket lose its weight?
Slim Fast and Hip Hop.
Oh my goodness. They're going crazy. Maybe you should give them some bones or something.
I'll be right back. Keep them busy.
Keep them busy.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so you guys are watching a full game? Football. I don't even know who's playing who. That's not bad, right? I don't think so. Cattywampus is a technical term. Sure it is. Go Chiefs, okay. Run, he's got coffee. Let's see. I'm not gonna lie, I had to look it up, but I get the context as you were describing the head. Yeah. I need a video on that. Oh, the weight loss on Bottle Rocket? I think he did one. Well, you know what? Those are kind of early videos, and I think we took some of those down. So that's why it might not be there. What's that?
They're actually being pretty good.
Are you being good?
Keep them busy for 1 second.
Why?
Because I think there's a copy of that magazine here.
Chris Freemesser says the Super Bowl is on, Kathy. I figured. Ian's so it's half-past, yeah. Ian's 0. No, not watching football. Couldn't care less about it. Tony is rummaging right now. Can you hear him?
I think there's a copy of that magazine.
Can we play UTG Jeopardy? Boomer chair subject for $1,000. Tony?
Boomer Chair Jeopardy?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's time for Kathy's Corner. Sure. Do I get theme music with that? Because I would really like to have theme music. Can you make something up for me, Tony? Barracuda, Mrs. Carcraft.
Here's one.
Tony, did you do a video on the weight loss on Bottle Rocket?
As we were putting it together, yeah.
Right, but I think we took those down, the early ones.
You know, you're right.
So you didn't do anything after that
No.
on Bottle Rocket's weight?
No. I mean, I could do a tour of the car, but in my mind, it's like kind of like really going backwards.
You can look. I don't know if it's still up there.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I can't help with that.
This is one that's been forgotten to the ages.
Drag Racing Illustrated.
Put out 2 issues of this. This magazine actually got mentioned. There was a guy named Robert Post who worked for the Smithsonian Institution. And in 1991, 1992, he did a book, a hardcover book for the Smithsonian called High Performance. And he actually mentions this magazine in it as having so much potential but no publishing oomph behind it, or something along those lines. It's been 30 years since I've seen it. But this was, so the unique thing about this was I wrote the magazine, and I also crewed the car that was on fire and actually put that car that was on fire back together again at the same time.
Did you burn that car?
What's that?
Did you burn that car?
I didn't burn it.
No.
No, Bobby did.
Oh, Bobby did it.
Bobby did.
Mark, I'm sorry if I murder your last name. Rapito sent you a super chat. Says I enjoy hearing about Cars Illustrated.
Thank you. So, I did all of the, me and Norman Blake did all the photography in this magazine. I shot all of this stuff.
And with Norman.
Yeah, Norman. Yeah, actually Norman shot both of these cover shots. But this one, the reason I wanted to show you this one is because this is the one that got me named in a $30 million lawsuit between.
Oh, was that in that magazine?
Yeah. The infamous Glidden interview. This is actually a collector's item.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because you were sued?
This I didn't know it never went through. Everybody dropped the suit.
Well, initially you were sued.
Yeah. So I did. I don't
You're
remember.
a troublemaker.
I don't remember all
You
the.
know that,
I don't
right?
remember all the details.
You're a
Right?
troublemaker. Where are the tapes? Do you have the tapes?
No, God, this is.
Where are the tapes?
This was 1988.
I know.
So.
I bet you somebody has them.
All right. So there was an incident where Glidden, and I don't remember the details of this. It's been so long, and I would have to actually read the story to remember.
You don't remember?
Yeah, to remember all the details. It's in the story. So, Glidden was suspected of running nitrous. Never, right? He didn't have any bottle, anything hidden in the hood that was made electrical connections through the scoops or through the hood pins. Nothing like that. He didn't have anything like that. So he was suspected of running nitrous. He didn't have any blocks specially cast for himself with passages with openings inside the block that could be pressurized with nitrous oxide. He had nothing like that. So he was accused of running nitrous.
By who?
The IHRA.
Okay.
Okay? So don't quote me on this part of it, right? Make a long story short. They accused him, they wanted him to tear down his car right in his pit, right, during the day while everybody was there. And he was like, no, I'm not going to tear down my car here in front of everybody. So everybody else who was cheating, which was everybody, said that they were going to boycott not pull out for first round because they were doing that to Glidden. So the IHRA dropped their demand that he tear down the car out there in the open. They all agreed not to make first round. First round comes, Glidden's ready to sit that round out, but everybody else goes out and makes their runs for first round. So now Glidden loses his first round loser money. So this whole thing was just, all right. So make a long story short, I go over to his pit afterwards, and I'm like, he's furious. He's furious, okay? I was actually, so I used to do, when I was at this period of time, I used to do double duty. I would go to the magazine, I would go to the races with a fuel car, because I was working on fuel cars at the time, but I would also do magazine stuff. So it was like when I wasn't flogging on a car, I'd go around and do magazine articles, or collect material to do articles. So Glidden is furious, right? And I says, do you want to tell you a story, Bob? And he's like, I certainly do. Just like that, right? So I says, I'll be right back. And I went back to the pit. I grabbed my tape recorder. I went down. I sat down with him, right? Now, up to this point, anytime, like, we'd pass each other, and we were never tight or anything. We were never, friends, right? But he knew who I was. I knew who he was. Ed was always, like, very, like, oh, hi, Tony, right? That sort of thing. So I go back there, and we're sitting down in his trailer, and I put the tape recorder down, and I had Norman Blake with me also, right? Because I needed like a witness for this. So Norman is sitting there, and actually he snapped a couple of pictures while he was there, had the tape recorder, and Bob Glidden goes and he tells this entire story. He is raging through the story. He is fuming, like as he's telling this story, like, like he's sweating, like the veins are bulging, he's just, right? And at some point in there, he says, and those other 16 guys, who didn't, he says, I wouldn't give them the sweat off my balls if they were dying of thirst. We wrap up the interview. So and it's important to know, okay? So at the end of this interview, I take the tape recorder and I says, Bob, listen, I'm going to run through this again. And anything you don't, help me, this is exactly how it went. I says, Bob, anything you don't want me to publish, you tell me and we're going to erase it from here. Okay? And then whatever's left is what's going to be published in the magazine. And he was like, his exact words, no, I said it, you print it. Just like that, all right? You sure, Bob? I said it, you print it. Okay, fine. I go back, bang it out. I just transcribed it, hand it in, along with the pictures. It goes to publish. All right, so 4 months later, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months later, however long it was, after the magazine comes out, I'm walking through the pro stock pits, and I'm like, hey, Etta. And she's like, she gives me this sneer, right? And I was like, man, maybe she's on the reg or something, right? And Bob is working on a car, okay? And he looks up and he just scowls at me, like just really just scowls. And so I walked over and I said, what's the matter, man? He says, you had some pair of balls printing that story. I says, Bob, you told me to print the freaking story. What?
They're okay as long as they're not
They're fine. They're fine. So in the meantime, Billy Meyer, who won the IHRA, there was a lawsuit between him and the IHRA, and I got named in it, but then it was all forgotten about. But it was an interesting period of time.
So he was mad at you, eh?
He was livid. He was livid.
Did he ever get over it?
What's that?
Did he ever get over it?
I never talked to him again.
Okay.
I never talked to him again.
Away.
I see him going that way, and I go that way. Because I don't need the bad mojo.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Bill McKiska sent you a super chat.
Thank you, Bill.
For a work truck that needs good low-end power, but also needs to be reliable every day in any situation imaginable, is it worth the money to build a stroker small block or just do minor stuff to a big block? 1985 Dodge D250.
I mean, a 4-inch crank and a 360 is like a bulletproof forever combination. So, I mean, work truck, low end is all important. Yeah, I would do a 4-inch stroker and use those 908 heads. Clean up the exhaust port just a tiny bit. I mean, low end is really not going to make a difference, but clean up the exhaust port just a tiny bit. Yeah, 360, 4-inch crank, 908s, or a 308s. 908, 308. I don't know. It's the roller cam pre-Magnum 360 cylinder head. And that's what I would put together. And a nice RV cam.
Do you want to check them? Real quick?
They're quiet.
I know, but it sounded like something was going on.
Yeah, they're good now.
I feel like I heard the door open.
No, the door didn't open.
I want you to check it.
I'm going to go check it.
Thank you. You didn't get checked.
Oh, there was you.
Okay. So it's not the sports ball.
Sports ball.
Tony knows how to make friends by printing the truth.
It's not that I printed the truth. It's that he told me to print it. Like, I literally... I mean, he looked pretty serious there. You know what I mean? He was... Is Bob, the interview Bob Glidden, we went to Bob to get his side of the Milan story. What we got were shocking accusations of favoritism, bogus clocks, and inconsistency within the IHRA.
That's clickbait.
No, it wasn't clickbait.
Before it was clickbait.
That wasn't clickbait. That's what he said.
I know that's what he said.
That's right. I forgot. He accused the IHRA of having bogus clocks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we covered it all in here. It was actually a pretty good piece of journalism.
Yeah.
I got a lot of attaboys, from people like Steve Collison and Dave Wallace and shit.
Yeah.
From this story.
Nice.
I
You
wouldn't
wake
give
up
those
alone.
guys the sweat off my balls if they were dying of thirst. Bob Glidden.
Oh my goodness. Do as I say, not as I do. R.I.P. Bob Glidden, keeping Ford in first place.
Oh, he was a great racer. He was a great racer. He was a good guy, a brilliant guy. But he was temperamental.
Shocking. Sounds like one of my YouTube titles. Shocking. Let's see.
Oh, this one got me in trouble with Mopar.
What?
See the bottom one inside the other Pro Stock Dodge?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the one where all right, so.
You in trouble again?
Yes, I got in trouble.
I was in trouble.
Let me see here. Where is it? No, this isn't the one. Okay, in one of these magazines, they around the B1 era, they had the Mopar Pro Stock block, okay, and they were touting it as a Mopar Pro Stock block, but in reality, it was a big block Chevy, okay. They changed enough stuff around so it visually didn't look like a big block Chevy, but it took a big block Chevy crank, had big block Chevy bore centers, had big block Chevy combustion chambers. It was legitimately a big block Chevy. You could take crank out of a fucking 54 and drop it into the fucking Mopar Performance Pro Stock engine. And that was taboo to talk about that, but I actually did a whole article on that. That got me in a bunch of trouble.
With who? Who got mad at you?
The Mopar people.
The Mopar people?
Yes. Not Mopar enthusiasts, Mopar performance people.
Okay. Do you think that they would be happy with you?
I could tell these magazine stories all night.
All of the promotion that you did. Do you think that they would be happy with you? But no.
I could tell these stories all night.
Glidden must have been taking the piss. I guess so.
No, he wasn't taking a piss. He was serious like a train wreck.
My generation, no tear down, you were disqualified. IB Thunder. E-Fog says, this is awesome. Tony, if it were a game, how many lives do you think Kiwi went through on his voyage?
I would be willing to bet he was snuffed at least twice.
You mean like a video game?
Yeah.
How did he recharge himself? How did he get more energy?
There's got to be something
More
out there.
lives.
Pac-Man something. I don't know.
Let's see. Uncle Tony would be happy owning a GT40. No.
No, I like them. I like them. I wouldn't want to own one.
Yeah.
If you threw me the keys one and said, "Here, take it for a romp," yeah, I'm all about it. But I wouldn't want to own one.
High Proof says, whenever we had the ported and manifold debate, would it still be the same as manifold vacuum from the intake?
Manifold vacuum is the intake. Ported vacuum, manifold vacuum is below the throttle blades. Ported vacuum is above the throttle blades.
$3 for 25 cents. The new rotary apex seals will be destroyed by decarbonizer treatments like motor vac. What are they talking about?
Apex seals. It's the equivalent of rings on a rotary engine.
Okay.
No, I don't see how.
No?
Wait, apex seals would be hurt how?
I don't know. Maybe they're talking to somebody else. Destroyed by decarbonizer treatments like motor vac.
Yeah. No. You couldn't do that. Apex seals are soft. They're very soft.
It's Kiwi with the pizza. Kiwi's never brought us a pizza.
Kiwi has never brought me a friggin' pizza.
I'm
sad about that.
Didn't we take Kiwi for pizza?
Yes. We took him to like the best pizza place,
We did.
Highfalutin, high dollar,
In
crazy
Franklin.
gourmet pizza. Yeah. I'm going to bring him a pizza tomorrow.
Oh, no, but he did bring good stuff to the barbecue that we had. What were those things that they made?
Oh, yeah. It's not a pizza. I'm going to bring him one tomorrow.
You're going to bring him a pizza?
I'm bringing him a pizza tomorrow.
Are you from Mellow Mushroom?
Don't worry about it.
He says he doesn't like cheese. Remember?
That's all right. There won't be any
Why
cheese
do I
on it.
remember that Kiwi doesn't like cheese?
There won't be any cheese on it. It'll be fine.
I don't have room in my brain for that.
I know what he likes.
You know what he likes?
Yeah. I'll look him up tomorrow.
You said you don't eat with other men. Mexican sense.
I try. Well, no, wait. Okay, so.
No, we all went out.
Yeah, we all went out. That's different. That's different.
I guess if I go, it's okay.
Yes. As long as there's some form of female involved in the group, I'm good.
Yeah, we went to Mellow Mushroom in Franklin. They have really good pizza. Not like cheese. Cheese built this country. I know.
I agree. Well,
he doesn't like cheese. Take it up with Kiwi.
He's a commie from whatever commie land he comes from.
New Zealand. We don't make that commercial.
No.
No, I don't buy that. Let's see. Kiwi's calzones and knishes. I tried to buy you knishes. They're like $14 for 2 knishes. Plus shipping. It was like $100 for a box of knishes.
It's crazy, right?
I was like, anybody that lives in New York and you want to go to Katz's Deli, get a knish, you might want to stick it in the mail for us because they're crazy. So the ad, it came up at Christmas time. Oh, order from Katz's Deli. So I look at the knishes because you always mention them.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's like $50 shipping for like 7 knishes.
You know what though? The Sabret ones are
they better?
Honestly, Sabret's got the best knishes.
Yeah. Where do you get Sabret though?
I don't know. I bet you can find it.
Because the last time I was in the city,
Yeah.
I went to a Sabret hot dog cart, and guess what kind of hot dogs they gave me?
It wasn't Sabret.
No, it was like the cheap Oscar Mayer hot dog. It was disgusting. I was so hungry.
I'm gonna look that up. I bet you we could get a box of.
It charged me like $5 for a hot dog. It was Sabret, and it wasn't. I was like, I hate this place. Get me out of here.
It just needs to sink.
Get me out of here. Let's see. Kiwi cataracts and cattywampus. Cheeseheads of happiness. Let's see. Laugh out loud. I've seen people in New Zealand burning the UTG flag. Personally, I think Kiwi is an undercover spy from Tony's past.
It could very well be. I don't put that past anybody.
Do we have a UTG flag? We don't.
No, we don't.
No.
Why?
Do you want a UTG flag?
No.
You should put one with your face on it.
No. No, I'm good. I'm good.
No. You can send us new foods. Katz's Deli has the best hot dogs in New York, Stray Bullet says. We got pastrami. A customer sent us pastrami from there once. The guy whose duster you worked on.
Oh, yeah.
Sent
I
us
did an engine
pastrami
job
and
for
finishes from
a
there,
guy, and
which
he
is
sent
really
me.
nice of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really nice.
That's the kind of tips I used to like to get when I was a mechanic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I did see in the email, somebody asked for our P.O. box because they wanted to send you like a...
No, please don't send me
Something.
anything.
Maybe you should explain why you don't accept things. Excuse me.
Because when I'm not actively currently doing YouTube like I'm doing right now, or sitting in front of a camera making a video, I try to completely deny and ignore the fact that I'm a YouTuber. Because
we think it's very nice that you.
I think it's very awesome. And I'm grateful for being able to do what we do. But I'm like, I cannot think of myself as being a YouTuber. It's just like...
Kiwi says, Tony, I'll get lunch tomorrow. See, we made him feel guilty.
I got you covered, Kiwi. I got you covered, buddy.
We're just teasing you, Kiwi. So what should I tell the guy that asked for a P.O. box? I didn't answer him. I just...
Yeah, please don't send us anything, ever.
But I can't say that because it sounds like it's not nice.
No, we appreciate the thought. The thought is more than...
It's like a vintage racing memorabilia something.
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
But no, please don't send anything.
But no. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I don't look at mail
packages or anything like that because we don't have...
I don't accept packages. I don't look at emails. I don't even know what the password is for the email account. I have no idea.
Do you know what the email account is?
UncleTony'sGarage@gmail.com.
Okay, good. Yeah,
but I have no idea how to get into it.
It's okay.
Or what's in it. I don't answer private messages.
No.
I don't even look at private messages. I don't.
You didn't even know that Kiwi texted you, and you were complaining that he didn't text you.
Well, people text me all the time, but I only respond to certain numbers. So among people, I respond to Kiwi, I respond to Dr. Art, I respond to Jeff from Two Hacks.
Yeah, I check the email like once a week, and Crystal checks it for any type of problem with shirt orders, so she'll just pull out those emails.
Yeah.
And Tony never checks email.
I never check emails.
He
ever.
doesn't go into email
I don't
at all.
No. Or private messages.
Or messages.
Anything.
Or anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't do any form of communication.
Zero.
He does it through me.
Right. I don't go on Instagram.
Which I hate.
I don't go on Snapchat. I don't.
Which is why we don't post on social media.
I don't post on social media.
Every once in a while I'll post something if it's just a photo, but...
Yeah, I like to live in a little isolation bubble.
Yeah.
Because I tried. When we first started this, I was like, oh, we have to do all of the things. We have to do all the things. And I did it for like a week. And I was like, I don't like doing any of these things.
I don't like the things.
I don't like the things. And I was like, you know what? My job is to make videos. Right? So... Yeah, I don't want to be popular. I don't want...
No TikTok.
No TikTok. I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be recognized. I just want to make some videos, get paid, and
So it's not Tony sending me the pics. No, that's not
No.
I don't like the things. Right.
Yeah. These other YouTubers, they love that stuff.
They love it.
They're all over it. They're all over it, and they all want to be part of this club. There's like this little clique. I don't want to be part of that club.
Franco says, Tony, you called me one time, and when I answered the phone, you hung up. I thought that was pretty rude. Did you call Franco and then hang up the phone?
No, why would I do that, Franco?
Because I have Franco's phone number in the email. He sent you an email.
Oh, shit. No.
You should put him on speaker. You should get him on one day.
We should.
Yeah.
But we keep saying that, and it never happens.
I know. Well, you should do it.
Arrange it.
Okay.
Arrange it.
Franco, send me an email.
Kathy will arrange it. I want to do a live with Franco.
You want to do live with Franco?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Kathy will arrange it. Don't leave it up to me. I have no idea. She'll just
Franco,
say,
send me an email.
Yeah, you're going to be on with Franco, and she'll tell me the night and the time. So.
Okay. That was mean to do to Franco.
No, I would never do that. I have so much respect for Franco. No.
What do we put in the email to get your attention?
Nothing.
Okay, so the problem is it's me and Crystal in the email.
Right.
And Crystal, I'll check email for shirt problems, and I'll pass them on to Crystal, or she'll check for shirt problems. So that's mainly what I look for. And then in between any shirt order problem,
Yeah.
because sometimes people get the wrong size or something, or they ordered something different, I'll go through emails. I'll look for something from our mods that comes first, and then familiar names to me, those come, and then all caps helps. Be clear in the title, because we get a lot of emails too from people that want to collaborate or
We get thousands of them.
or send us things to like try or do a video about.
Yeah, I don't want to try anything, and I don't want to really collaborate with anybody.
I have to go through all that schlock, right? And
Peg, I recognize Peg's number.
Peg,
Peg
right?
texted me.
So
He texted
anybody
me the
else
other
that's a
day.
YouTuber, usually like I'll see if I'll catch that, like names that I recognize. You know what I'm saying? But it's really hard to go through the emails sometimes, and especially like if I'm not feeling good, I don't get to them at all. So, and that happens because we're human. We go all year long, and we're gonna get sick at some point. So many videos, so little time. Yeah.
A lot of videos, but you gotta keep going. You gotta keep feeding the machine. You gotta keep feeding the machine.
Next inspect. I have to send you an email. I hope you see it. Yeah. Yes. So people were asking too. I know that I saw emails about people asking about shipping shirts to other parts of the world.
We had too many trouble.
Crystal
Yeah.
is looking into it again.
Yeah.
So she's gonna deal with that. So we'll see. Maybe soon.
Yeah, I'm against the general idea.
I know.
We have had nothing but trouble with international orders.
Peg always has a long face. Yeah.
He texted me the other day. He just sent me. I was in the middle of shooting a video, so I couldn't really talk to him. But he sent me. He took a picture of tobacco. He just sent me.
Oh, did he get tobacco?
Picture of this.
Oh, nice. Because he was asking me about it at like 1 a.m. When's Tony smoke again? I'm like, what? He's funny. International is a nightmare. It absolutely is. Like, we had problems sending stuff to Australia. Like, it was so expensive. And then we had something get sent back. I guess it wouldn't go through customs. So we had to resend it. It was like $80.
Yeah, it ends up
cost
costing
us
us hundreds of dollars
$80.
to
It cost
send
us a lot of
somebody a
money.
thing that they never get.
Right? I feel bad. It's so like people spending so much money to get their stuff, and then when it doesn't go, it's like, well, we have to spend the money again because the post office will never say, "Oh, we made a mistake. Let me refund you there." You never get a refund from the post office.
It's brutal. It's brutal.
It's crazy.
All right,
It's
take
like,
a couple
oh, it
more.
didn't get there. That's your fault.
Take a couple
Ship
more,
it
and we gotta
again.
wrap it up.
Let's see. Just got back from white headliner install in FC7 70 Roadrunner.
Nice.
Nice. I hate that job. It's a horrible job. I hope you had like an ambient temperature when you're installing the headliner. Because I did one outside and it was like 90 degrees.
Yeah, it's a bad job.
It was awful. It's so bad. What car did I do that in? Was it
The swinger.
the Swinger? It came out really nice.
Yeah.
I almost died. Sorry, no peace standing up shirts internationally. Not at the moment. Same to send to Canada. It was too much. Hey Tony, can I send you a few pics? Email. He'll never see them.
I'll never see them.
He won't see them.
Don't send me pics. Don't send me anything.
It's like there have been times when I've tried to show him things and he can't. He doesn't have room in his brain.
I don't.
Yeah.
I listen. I mean, honestly, I don't have. I have all the pictures of things I could ever want to see.
He doesn't have room in his brain.
I have all the parts I could ever want to use. I have all the money I need. I don't want anything. Please, just don't want anything.
We should do something where they could send pics to like the Facebook page, and we could post them.
I don't go on a Facebook page.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But I could post them.
You could. I don't care what you do.
But you know what? I had to shut off the mail on the Facebook page, and the Instagram, because I couldn't check that too. So you can't send mail to either of those right now. No.
We do.
We're really bad.
I do 2 lives a week. We do one every Sunday. We do one every Wednesday.
Right.
And that's my time to you know what I mean. This is when we do. You know this is the letters. Like you want to send a letter or something like that. Now's the time to do it. Do it verbally, and I'm happy to respond.
Right. Yeah, because you can only do so much.
Yeah, my head is full of stuff. It really is, and I get derailed really easy. I have hype. I have super ADD. I'm convinced I'm on the spectrum. Asperger's. So it's like I get overwhelmed very easily if I'm off path.
As do I.
What's that?
As do I.
Yeah. If I'm on target, I'm good. You know, I keep marching forward, get stuff done. Okay, but I get derailed so easily by noise that's why I don't want people to think, oh, he just doesn't want to have anything to do with this. You know what I'm saying? I get derailed by noise, by anything, any type of sidetrack. So for my own sanity, my own psychological protection, my job is to make videos. And so that's what I do. I just make videos. And then when I'm not making videos, I pretend that I don't make videos.
Yeah, well, whatever works for you, Tony. Everybody's different. Alright, you got a few minutes left. You got like 10 minutes. 9 minutes. 8 minutes. To be able to do a tedious job with quickness is really something. Scarlet Fire wants to do mopers. See, I'm tired. Mopars switch to hardened valve seats. When?
1970.
Okay. Internally overwhelmed by distractions. I don't know. The social media is really hard. Like, I don't know how people do it. Like, they must really like it to post all the time, the way that they do. Some people have to really enjoy that. I know I don't enjoy it. Do you enjoy it?
Some people love the spotlight. They live for the spotlight, and it's a popularity contest. I'm not faulting them for it. As everybody is motivated by different things, and I'm the opposite. I don't really like the spotlight. I end up in it pretty often, but it's not something that I seek. I think of myself as a behind-the-scenes person. And I guess I've said it many times. When we started doing this channel, I never thought that I would be the guy in front of the camera. I wanted to be running. I wanted to be organizing things, running the channel. I wanted to be like a producer, okay, not the person in front of the camera. And I ended up in front of the camera by default. It's not where I wanted to be.
JOK says it's hard to maintain tunnel vision with distractions everywhere. Yeah, especially with the internet. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Social media is crazy. Dear Ann Landers, UTG, I'm running in the Pure Stock Nationals. How can I make a 4-inch tread bike? Please help.
Pure Stock Nationals, 4-inch tread? What the hell are you running with a 4-inch tread? That's a really skinny tire. What can you do? Biggest diameter you can fit in there, or biggest diameter that's available in that size. And play a lot with tire pressure. That's jack and weight. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of car you're dealing with. You need something that's going to spring real high, real easy. If you're dealing with a Mopar, just drill out the shocks, let the oil out, because the best shock for a Mopar is a dead shock. If you're dealing with a coil spring car, you need to sell like 9010s. Anything that'll get the front of the car up quickly.
A 1065 GTO. I think he meant 1965.
A 65 goat. Yeah. And the most important, you're gonna have to try to cheat a little bit, man, because a coil spring, the big liability with those cars is the trailing arm rear, because the geometry. No, it's a four link, but it's set for the instant center is infinity, and that's why you get axle hop out of them. So, I mean, oh God, pure stock. I don't know what you can get away with, but I would try to cheat as much as I can.
You hear that? Cheat.
So what you need to do, and it really doesn't take much, right? But what you need to do is get the upper. Don't worry about the lower control arm, but the upper control arm. You need to get the back of the upper control arm up as high as you possibly can. Maybe slot the hole, and you can probably get it up 3/4 of an inch or so. And at the front, you need to drop it as much as you can, and maybe slot the hole. And you can probably get 3/4, maybe even an inch out of that, right? So that's the important thing, okay? That the upper trailing arm, you need to bias downwards any way you can, and that's the biggest benefit you can have with that combination.
Okay, I hope that works.
Yeah.
Dada Liberaton says it's like hypnosis. You have the one who projects, Tony, and the followers, us. It's like hypnosis. New City says thank you. Okay, so are you done? I think you're done.
I've been done for months.
You better let the dogs in because they sound like they're killing each other.
They're about ready to.
Yeah, they're gonna have conniptions.
All right. So I am gonna pull the plug, guys. Thank you for joining us. Our amazing mods, Fubar, Mexican Spec, Zero, Ari. I didn't see Ari tonight.
He's here.
Is he?
Here. Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much. Ari, Ari sometimes does a show after we do called After the Tony. So Ari DeBernia is his channel. You may want to go over there.
Release the hounds, yeah.
Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage is live now over on his channel, so you may want to go over there and hang out. Thank you to our mods. Everybody contributed super chat. Thank you so much. Greatly, usually appreciated. Never expected. Always, always appreciated. And everybody contributed just your presence and your conversation. Thank you. We're eternally grateful for you guys allowing an idiot like me to be able to make a living doing this shit. It's crazy. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's it. Tomorrow morning I got a show and tell video.
Should be interesting.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Well, I don't know.
Probably it's not gonna be interesting.
It'll be interesting.
It won't be interesting. It'll be boring.
If you're into 426 Hemis at all, you'll get something out of tomorrow's video for sure. We're going to do a show and tell. And yeah, the dogs are going nuts. They're actually cannibalizing each other at this
Please
point.
open the door.
Right.
I'm worried about them.
And that's it, guys. We're out of here.
Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
all.